1965. Unknown soldier in Vietnam. A weary soldier stands in Vietnam. His uniform tells of patrols. During Vietnam War, the average age of U.S. soldiers was 22. 1967. First woman in Boston Marathon. Kathrine Switzer becomes the first woman to finish Boston Marathon in 1967, despite attempts to stop her. She became an inspiration for many. 1888. Graves separated by a wall. Netherlands. In 1888, a Catholic and Protestant couple were buried separated by a wall in Netherlands, a reminder of religious divisions. 1914. Painters of the Brooklyn Bridge. In 1914, painters of the Brooklyn Bridge risked their lives without modern safety measures, showing incredible dedication to their craft. 1922. Tutankhamun's tomb seal, 3,245 years untouched. The unbroken seal of Tutankhamun's tomb, found in 1922, remained untouched for 3,245 years before Howard Carter discovered it. 1939. Albert Einstein in Nassau. 1939. Einstein, enjoying a peaceful summer in 1939 in Long Island, is captured in one of his rare moments of relaxation. 1967. Harlem Peace March. In 1967, African Americans protested the Vietnam War during the Harlem Peace March, making their voices heard against the conflict. 1965. Salvador Dali and Raquel Welch. Salvador Dali finishes his famous portrait of Raquel Welch in 1965. Their collaboration brought together art and Hollywood glamour. 1899. Nikola Tesla in his lab. Nikola Tesla stands near his magnifying transmitter in 1899, a symbol of his visionary work that pushed the limits of science. 1958. Audrey Hepburn and her pet deer. Audrey Hepburn shops with her pet deer, Ip, in 1958. A symbol of her unique bond with animals. 1932. Painters of the Eiffel Tower. In 1932, Eiffel Tower painters worked without modern safety equipment, showcasing their fearlessness and dedication. 1912. Last known photo of the Titanic. This photo from 1912 shows the Titanic before its fateful voyage, capturing a moment of history before disaster struck. 1955. Customers at a music store in London. In 1955, a bustling London music store became a hub for vinyl records, reflecting the rise of youth culture. 1940. Wait for Me Daddy, by Claude Detloff. Wait for Me Daddy captures a Canadian child running to his father heading to war in 1940, symbolizing wartime farewells. 1862. First metro ride, London. In 1862, London saw its first metro ride at Edgware Road Station, marking the beginning of modern urban transport. 1905. Norway's first delivery of bananas. Norway received its first shipment of bananas in 1905, a novelty that surprised the public unfamiliar with the fruit. 1945. Easter eggs for Hitler. In 1945, British soldiers left Easter eggs in the form of bombs for Hitler, adding a darkly ironic twist to the war's end. 1950. Coca-Cola arrives in France in 1950. Coca-Cola made its debut in France, marking the expansion of American culture and commercialism post-Y2. 1961. The Beatles play for 18 people. In December 1961, the Beatles performed for 18 people, only 18 people at Aldershot Club. Within 2 years, they became global superstars. 1960. Che Guevara and Fidel Castro fishing. Che Guevara and Fidel Castro shared a quiet moment fishing in 1960, highlighting their strong personal bond amidst revolution. 1944. Into the Jaws of Death. In 1944, Into the Jaws of Death captured soldiers landing on D-Day, showcasing their bravery amidst incredible danger. 1940. Girl with her doll in bombed house. In 1940, a girl sits with her doll in the ruins of her London home, a heartbreaking symbol of war's devastation. 1,896 marathon runners, first modern Olympics. In 1896, the first modern Olympic marathon saw 3 men push their limits, reviving an ancient tradition. 1918. Women delivering ice cubes. In 1918, women took over traditionally male roles, delivering ice cubes during World War I as part of the labor force shift. 1967. Sweden switches driving sides. In 1967, Sweden's streets were chaotic as the country switched from left to right side driving in a single day. 1912, Newsboy announces Titanic sinking. In April 1912, newsboy Ned Parfett sold papers announcing the Titanic's sinking, an unforgettable moment in history. 1942, women paint propaganda posters. In 1942, women in New York painted propaganda posters, contributing to the war effort with their artistic talents. 1944, George Blind, French resistance member George Blind, a French resistance fighter, smiled defiantly in front of a German firing squad in 1944, showing remarkable courage. 1927, The Real Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin. In 1927, Christopher Robin posed with his bear, inspiring the timeless stories of Winnie the Pooh. 1948, Mother offers children for sale. A 1948 photo shows a mother hiding her face in shame after offering her children for sale in Chicago, a stark image of post-war poverty. 1961, Disneyland Canteen for employees. In 1961, Disneyland's employee canteen offered a behind-the-scenes look at the workers who kept the magic alive. 1936, man refuses to give Hitler salute. In 1936, a man stood firm and refused to give the Nazi salute, a quiet act of defiance against the regime. 1920, man measures bathing suits. In 1920, authorities measured women's bathing suits to ensure they met decency standards, reflecting the era's strict moral codes. 1940, Austrian boy with new shoes. During World War II, an Austrian boy's pure joy at receiving new shoes was captured in a photo, symbolizing hope amidst hardship. 1958, Elvis Presley in the Army. In 1958, Elvis Presley enlisted in the U.S. Army, serving for 2 years and pausing his music career during a critical period. 1938, woman with gas-resistant pram. A woman in 1938 England showcased a gas-resistant pram, a chilling reminder of the war preparations underway. 1969, crowd at Woodstock. In 1969, hundreds of thousands gathered for Woodstock, an iconic festival that became a defining moment of the counterculture era. 1956, animals used in therapy. In 1956, animals were used as part of medical therapy, an early recognition of the emotional benefits animals provide. 1990, a 106-year-old Armenian woman stood guard with a rifle, showing her resilience and readiness to protect her home. 1916, Charlie Chaplin at age 27. A 1916 photo of Charlie Chaplin at 27 shows the iconic comedian at the height of his silent film career, charming audiences worldwide.